Hey, I have a new motto for you today. Rob just came up with it. I was thinking embrace imperfection that came from my friend Lynn. He said fix the dumbness. Maybe it's somewhere in between. What do you think? Between embrace imperfection and fix the dumbness. I don't know. Fix the dumbness, I like that. But embrace imperfections, awesome too, because sometimes we artists expect too much from ourselves, especially right out of the gate when we're newer or maybe intermediate level. I know I tend to really expect too much of myself. And there's just no need for that. In today's creative society, if you want to call it, creative community, it's just not important to be perfect. In fact, the imperfections sometimes are kind of cool and lead us on a journey to something else. So embrace it, and if it gets too far out of line, well, fix the dumbness. And here I am, I'm kneading clay. When I went to visit my friend Kate in Marietta a couple of weeks ago, she said, you said in the beginning of one of your videos, I'm not going to teach you how to condition clay. You know how to do that. Well, just in case you don't, I'm going to give you a few tips that I read in Lisa Pavelka's The Complete Book of Polymer Clay. I totally endorse this volume. No, I don't carry it because you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble online and buy it for pretty cool discounts, so why should I carry it, right? You can get it sometimes, I think, at Barnes & Noble if you buy $25 and have a card, a card club or something with them, and you can get free shipping too, so go there and get Lisa Pavelka's book on The Complete Book of Polymer Clay, because she has good tips for everything. And a few I'm going to share with you today. And number one thing is I'm doing a great big no-no here. I have junk on my hands because of another video that we're going to do after this where I was playing around with nail polish. Now, I have scrap clay here that I'm kneading on, so ain't no big deal. But if you didn't have scrap clay and you wanted to get perfection, you would not be working with dirty hands like me. This is like number one thing for conditioning clay. Hands clean. This actually is Gilder's paste and nail polish. So you have to clean it off with acetone. I didn't have time. So hopefully it's not going in this clay. It doesn't look like it is, but just don't take any chances. Clean up first. And your surface and all your tools. Decontaminate them and get the other colors off of you and off of your tools and out of your clay, and you will be happy. I read a really cool thing in Lisa's book where if you've got clay that's kind of hard, do you have one of those rice bags? Did your mom ever make you one of those for when you hurt your arm or your neck? My mom does that. She's such a sweetie. She makes me rice bags. Well, guess what? You can't put polymer clay in the microwave oven. Don't ever do that. However, you can put a rice bag in there. We know that. Those of us who have one know. Put the rice bag in the oven, not in the oven, the microwave. Heat it up so it's nice and warm. And you know that rice in there kind of emits some humidity. Well, if you take and warm it up, not till it's like scalding and cooking, but warm it up nice and warm and put your piece of clay in there and let it sit on a rice bag for a little bit. That'll help. You heard the ding. I have something in the polymer clay oven. That'll help. And then you just work it with your hands. I personally don't think there's any substitute for that. One thing you can do is work it with your hands for a little bit. You can take it over to your marble board and roll it with the palm or the butt of your hand here. Although I will tell you, if you do that a whole lot, this will get sore the next day. You may feel it. Your acrylic clay roller, great tool. You're going to want to have that at the ready. Pasta machine. There are times when you got to use the pasta machine, not only to condition clay, but for different types of blends like the Skinner blend you've all probably heard about that helps you to shade your clay. You got to have a pasta machine for that. If you need one, we have some rather inexpensive ones from Doris that'll do you just fine at bsuboutiques.com, and our shipping is really low. Just a little hint there. Our shipping is like super low. If you buy over $100, you get it for free, and under that, it's $3.95 no matter what you buy. So you could have a heavy pasta machine shipped to you out in Washington State or California from Ohio for $3.95. So keep that in mind. Anyway, enough yak from me. You're going to want Lisa's book. I'm going to bring you over to my marble board or my ceramic tile and show you how I'm going to roll this out and use a brass stamping, which we specialize in at Bisou Boutiques, to make impressions, and also a little bit about Lisa Pavelka's craft foils that I just discovered this week. We now have them at the site and they're mighty cool too. So come on over here and let's do some fun things together, and I'll take this thing out of the oven and show you what I made. Okay, so here we are with the handy dandy glazing tray, and these beads are as yet not glazed. Do you see this iridescent stuff on them? That is not paint. That is not gilder's paste. This is a new product that we just got in. It is really neat. It is Lisa Pavelka's craft foil, and I am not real good at using it yet, but I'm going to kind of try and demonstrate to you. These came out good. They're not glazed. Once they're glazed, they're going to really pop. But I'm going to try and make a few beads doing that. This is the foil, and of course you can see I've used a little bit of it. You use the side with the different designs and metallic in it, up, side up. And then you put it over a piece of clay, which is this conditioned clay. And again, my hands are dirty, so since this is scrap clay, it doesn't matter, but if you're working with a good design, this should be all clean, and your hands should not be dirty. I'm just going to put this over here, and then I'm just going to gently burnish it a little bit with my fingers to the shape of the piece under there, and you can feel it, you know, you can feel it a little bit. Then I'm gonna take and lightly use this kind of as a burnisher. I'm not rolling it because that would then distort the piece of clay under it, and I know because I did it. But you want to get that burnished on there, you know, pretty well. It won't be perfect, it won't all stay. You want as much as possible. Okay, here's the telling point. We're going to lift it off. Just pull it off and see how much stayed. Good, good. Now you just want this for accent, so it doesn't matter if it didn't all come off. But let me see if I can turn this so that you can see how pretty that's going to be. It's like kind of watermarked, iridescent. So now I'm just going to tear this up because I'm going to make beads from it. Maybe I'll make a little bead. So now I'm going to start just rolling it in my hands. And now the foil will get kind of random. Now I ended up, well, it's kind of good I showed you that. Because I rolled the foil into it. It wasn't showing. It was all to the inside. So you don't want that. That's not sticking together. I just love it when I have these accidents on camera. But, you know, I think in the long run, it kind of teaches you when you see that I'm still struggling with a product and trying to learn it just the same as you, that, you know, it's all good, like we say. Embrace the imperfection and fix the dumbness. Okay, I think I fixed the dumbness on that. That's ready to be pierced. Isn't that going to be pretty? See how that came? So then this next one, let's try and roll it with the foil to the outside. Okay? So we'll do that. Aha! This is going to be so neat. And then if you want, you can take it and run it over a texture plate, or, you know, when you coat it and glaze it, you could glaze it with a high gloss glaze. It might almost look like glass, like lampwork beads. My guess is it probably will. And maybe that's what I'll do when I get them done, is do that. Put the gloss glaze. But you can see where I'm going with this, right? It just makes real random foily things in there. So that if you go over it with a gloss glaze, you're going to look like you got a glass bead. So this stuff is not real expensive. I think it's like, I don't know, I'm going to say $7.50, but it might actually be a little bit less on the site. And Shelly is working on putting it on there today. Okay, once again, I've got some contamination, so I'm going to do my Germex and try to get some of it off, because I want to do something else entirely. And I'm not going to be able to get it all off, but I should have baby wipes down here. That's what you should have. I ran out of them. I'm sorry, guys. But I ran out of baby wipes. And that would have been better. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to show you how you can use a brass stamping to make a mold. And this is the big owl head from bsuboutiques.com website. And I've got a great big old lump of clay here. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. What is so cool about using brass stampings is that, as opposed to silicone molds and molds that you make from putty and stuff, they do not need a release agent. So I've got a great big ball here, and I don't need to treat this metal with anything to make it pop loose later. So the main task that I have right now is getting the clay completely in there. I was thinking about using the roller. You know, whatever you... Now see, you're going to make an uneven mark back with that. So I'm new to this too. I saw this in her book, and I know people have done it for a long time. Basically, it's in there. Now, you could at this point choose to pull the excess off, but this is why you use a little hobby knife. You can get it off with that. Oh, there's Evie. He's sounding mournful. He's crying. Do you hear my kitty? I think he's mad because we didn't include him in the video today. So he's howling. I don't know why cats howl. He's just psycho. Kind of like his owner. But I'll just pull this off. Okay, now the option you would have at this point is just go ahead and bake it and then pop it out and clean out the rest. But excuse me, you might have a lot of sanding to do. So I left a little lip there. I'm going to see how much I distort this when I pull it out. This might be a total bust because this is kind of a bigger mold. And really, her book says it's better to bake it and then take the X-Acto knife and pry it out, and it'll just pop out. I'm just going to see what happens, because I had some success with this piece earlier and this piece earlier, just pulling it out before and then baking. So let's see what happens. Just a little experiment, a little bit of experimenting, you know, I'll do again. Well, he's not half bad. He's pretty good. What do you think? We could bake him. You got a little trim work here to do. Oh, it fell apart. I hate that. Don't you hate that? Let's see if I can get it back in. Or do I have to go get another one? Not kidding. See, is there going to be blood? It's going to stay in. You know, on camera, you can just bet. Actually, the one I have at the site is better than this. I'm going to hold it right here so that it doesn't come out. Improvise. Embrace imperfection and fix the dumbness. This knife is dumb. Right, Rob? Mm-hmm. Rob thinks it's dumb. Rob thinks a lot of things are dumb, though. This is really dumb. Yes, Rob, it is. It's dumb. Okay, so this isn't half bad. You can kind of, you know, fix him up. But he looks good. And then after you bake him, you could take him and you could put him on something else. Basically, I made a flat piece with this using the Lisa Pavelka foils. I just ran it through the pasta machine so I don't have a ragged edge. Then I took this raw, which it's not raw, it's not baked yet. This was not baked. And then I took a little strip and ran around the edges of it. I put it on to this with liquid Sculpey. This stuff acts like a polymer clay glue. So if you want to take one thing and put it on top of another, it's a good thing to put a little bit of this behind it, in between, like a glue. You don't put real glue on this stuff and then bake it. Noxious fumes knock you out, bad stuff. Use your Sculpey liquid, and we do have it at the website, and that will last you a long time. But anyway, that's how I got an owl. Now let's see if I can do one more. This is conditioned. Of course, I'm cross-contaminated, but we're running out of time. I'm going to put this in here. Now, I've got way too much clay here. But just for the sake of time, what I want to show you is that you can get nice impressions from brass stampings. That's the whole point of this. I'm not doing this perfectly, okay? So we're really embracing imperfection here. What I want to show you is how neat these are to make impressions. Okay, now I'm going to pull this away. Look at that. Neat? Beautiful? Okay, now this isn't working so hot, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut this. Nah, it's bogus. Maybe I could just use a blade. Don't do this at home, folks. But you can see how it just cut that away, okay? Until I had it all nicely shaped. And then on this one, which I did bake, and it doesn't look like much because it's so matte just coming out of the oven. But what I did is I made a clay snake, and I ran around the edge of this. You can see how I did it, and then I took the knife and made little incisions. So what I'll do is I'll take some gilder's paste on this, and then I will bring this highlight out and show you a little more. So that's basically what I wanted to show you today, just to plant some ideas for you to see what you can do with brass stampings and polymer clay. They really go hand in hand. That's why I'm carrying them. Come check our website. We have a nice kit for beginners that for I think $55 you can get everything you need to get started, and you're going to be impressed with how little money you have to spend to have a wonderful new hobby. So come see us, and thank you so much for tuning in today.